And welcome back, in black. Ninja Gaiden black, that is. Last time, we finished up Chapter 2, and Ryu has his mission for the game. Track down Doku, kill him, and get the Dark Dragon Blade back. To that end, in this chapter, we are going to switch over to the Nunchucks, since they got no love in the previous chapters, and we're going to bust out the shurikens instead of the bow. I haven't had a chance to talk about the shurikens. They're decently useful if you can think to use them. Obviously, they don't do much damage. There are several enemies that can just deflect them outright, but you can cancel a lot of Ryu's ending lag with them, like so. And in general, they have some good utility in extending combos, and once enemies' guards are broken, you can still pepper them with shurikens or catch them between attacks to stun them. Now, out onto the ship proper. We've got several side rooms here, but most of them have nothing in them on Master Mode. On the lower difficulties, they have healing items and other supplies for you to collect. Not so lucky here, so we're just going to go into the room that we need to go in, which actually has something for us to collect. In this case, it has the mat for us. I'm not going to need this, as this is a relatively linear area, as most areas in this game are. However, when we try to leave, well, it looks like Ryu has run afoul of the SWAT team. This is the Vigorian Military Strike Police, MSAT. I do not know what that acronym stands for. It just gets referenced in a diary that you find within Tyrone once we get there. They are not terribly threatening. You gotta watch out for the black armor MSATs that can guard a lot of your attacks until you break their guard. Otherwise, the white one's very weak. The move that I use there to start, that is XY, Wide Heavens. Very useful move, very powerful one, especially later in the game. As you can see, the bulk or the main function of the nunchucks is just mash out the X button, but you can end the combo at any time with a heavy hit called Fire Pit by pressing the heavy attack button. And that's going to be the extent of how this weapon works. We're going to take that essence. This guy is coming. We're going to hit him with Wide Heaven, hit him with another Wide Heaven. Now, the nice thing about the combos of the nunchucks is that when they're going wild, you can count on them to just whack the people who are coming inbound. Take that guy down. There we go. The ultimate technique, not as powerful as you'd hope, but it does hit a lot of times. Okay, let's take this guy into the sky, or that guy. That guy's still dead, or alive. Oof. Watch out for these guys when they get in close. They have those grabs, and they can be pretty nasty. Let's hit this guy with an ultimate technique. Unfortunately, the damage we deal with the ultimate technique does not always kill them guaranteed. Didn't do that as cleanly as I usually do, but I did cleanly enough. Once we defeat those guys, we get the wing key, and we can continue further into the ship. Heading into the central area, the first place we want to go is to the left here. While we're walking down these stairways, I want to say, I mentioned how ultimate techniques generate more yellow essence. There is another way to do so, your combo count. Starting at a 20-hit combo, the amount of yellow essence you get from enemies will increase. As well, it will guarantee a yellow essence drop. I believe the scaling is every 5 hits, the multiplier goes up, and it starts at, I want to say 250 or 300%, and it caps out at 600% at 50 hits. And that does stack with an ultimate technique bonus if you can manage to line them up. Although it does not add together cleanly, I believe the maximum amount of yellow essence you can get is 1200%. It wouldn't be it's not 1300% like you'd expect. Now, Muramasa has a couple of important purchases for us that we can make here. First off, we can upgrade the Dragon Sword. Now, if I was playing strictly practically, I would just use the Dragon Sword here, because that upgrade, in addition to unlocking some new moves for it, including the ever-useful Flying Swallow, it increases the damage of the weapon flatly, making it much stronger. However, I want to show off the nunchucks, so we'll be sticking to that. I did a couple practice runs of this chapter, and I found that I can do well enough alone with the nunchucks. Also, we've got our first of 6 upgrades we can apply to the wooden sword. This one costs 3,000, very cheap, so we may as well get it. However, it scales up to become quite expensive. Upgrading the wooden sword provides no benefit to it. It does not unlock any new moves or increase its damage, but once you max it out, something special happens. Now, the main reason we want to upgrade the Dragon Sword, even if I'm not going to be using it, is that doing so unlocks 3 new technique scrolls for us to buy. We'll start from the bottom. Guillotine throws is a very useful move. Jumping towards the enemy, you can press A and X, or do the special jump wind run by pressing A and X and just holding it, and Ryu will toss the enemy. Very good for setting enemies up for further attacks, or even just killing some of these weaker MSAT guys, so we're going to take that. Next up is counterattacks. When you are holding block, if you time it so that when an attack strikes your guard, you can press an attack button, either X or Y, and Ryu will launch a counter. These counters have invincibility frames tied to them, so they get through no problem, and you can actually chain counters if you block several attacks in succession. Bit tricky to line up and kind of dangerous on these MSAT guys who have grabs, but can be very useful on certain enemies like, say, ninjas. Would really have loved to have this technique scroll in Chapter 1. Sadly, it was not meant to be. The final one, and the one that is probably the most popular to new players, is Zuna Drop. This is a special move for the Dragon Sword, and a couple other weapons, but the Dragon Sword is the one you'll mainly use it with. It is XY, triple XY, and that is death for the enemy. Izuna Drop is a special throw move from the air that pile drives the enemy into the ground, and anything that can be Izuna dropped is killed by it 100% of the time. Very nice. One other thing to go over is the Armlet of the Moon. I did not go over this armlet because it is pretty bad, and I won't be buying it for a while, and I will never be using it. This is the defensive counterpart to the Armlet of the Sun. It decreases incoming damage by 5%. That is barely anything, and it will never save you, ever. Completely worthless. Just buy it to fill out your inventory if you want it. Since we've got some spare money, I'll buy a couple extra potions. Hopefully I can get through without having to use them, but it's good to have that insurance. If I get down into a reddish area of health, that would be a good time to use an Elixir of Spiritual Life. We actually do not find too many items in this chapter, so it's a good idea to have some in my back pocket. Before heading toward where we need to go, we can come into the ship's kitchen here, find a chest with our next Life of the Gods. It'll be a while before we have 9 to increase our life with. And unfortunately, you get Life of the Gods pretty slow rate, so kind of annoying. Coming into this room, we've got a pretty annoying fight in the crew compartment. The quarters here are very cramped. Alright, I'm gonna hit this guy with a guillotine throw. Like I said, these MSAT guys killed by the guillotine throw outright. Oh, apparently not. Okay, so there is some variance in the damage here. We'll take this guy down with a... Oh, yeah. Like I said, variance in the damage. Sometimes those moves that should kill don't always kill. Pretty annoying. Now, one nice thing about the MSAT guys is that very rarely will they run in with their grabs. Usually they'll come in to do strikes, and that'll be important when you're in recovery from certain moves. Not the best I've ever done that fight, but hey, got some good yellow essence off the ultimate technique. Unfortunately, these guys do not give nearly as much yellow essence as the red ninjas, so it will take quite a few kills that way to actually get ourselves up to the point where we can buy any more supplies. Heading over to this door, we can unlock it, create a little shortcut back to the, let's see, the cabin area, which will be handy later. Coming back in here, got some guys. Here is the final variety of MSAT, the blue MSAT. These guys are basically just a slightly upgraded white MSAT, but they start with a grenade launcher. Very dangerous. That was a counterattack right there. I knew that guy was coming in, so hit him with the counterattack as he came to strike me. Like I said, if you're in the middle of attacking another MSAT, they won't run in with a grab. They'll always do a strike first. That is your opportunity to nail them with a counterattack. Now, checking out this little clipboard here. Yeah, if you go around checking all the doors around here, you'll find that quite a few of them are locked, but it looks like if there are any electrical malfunctions, the locks will disengage for the safety of the people on board. Probably good practice. Now over here, you probably noticed this, a golden scarab. This is the first of the game-long collection side quest. There are 50 golden scarabs to collect. This first one will get us a reward from Muramasa, and then we will get one for every interval of 5 we collect. On the lower difficulties, you get a lot of good rewards for these, and on hard and very hard, it's actually mandatory for your progression if you want upgrades. But on Master Mode, the rewards are famously terrible. We'll get into those when we start getting them. Other than that, you can grab a map of Tyrone here. Very nice. It'll be handy for when we actually land in the city. Do note, I didn't go to check it out because I feel confident I can get by without it, but there is a save point in the main deck area, the other stairwell on the opposite side from the one that led to Muramasa. That will lead us to a save point. We'll hit that up later after we've done our business here. Coming down into the bridge area. Got a bunch more MSAT. As always, we want to take out the blue MSAT right away. Those grenades hurt a ton. Just hit those guys with Fire Pit. Hit him with the Tail of a Wide Heaven. ET there. Did not finish him off. I do have the Arm of the Sun equipped, but it just seems like there's a lot of variance to how much damage you can do in this game. That was actually very risky. But we're doing okay. Quite a few of these guys coming in. And yeah, there I said I was just swinging wildly, but the rather generous hitboxes on the Nunchucks can sometimes just hit guys as they come in. We're not out of the woods yet. We got a black MSAT coming in now. And this guy is not alone. On lower difficulties he is, but as you can see, he's got some help here. Yep, hit him with the counter. Now, as you've noticed, when the MSAT are hanging back, they will whip out their pistols and pop some shots at you. Gotta be a little bit careful of that. It's not overly threatening, but it can add up as chip damage. Guns were really dangerous in Ninja Gaiden Vanilla, actually. They fire very frequently, and they burn through your health quick. After defeating those guys, we get an ID card. Inside this room, this is the first room we can open with the ID card. Get a Elixir of Spiritual Life, very handy. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about the Nunchucks compared to Ninja Gaiden Vanilla, in Ninja Gaiden Vanilla, whenever you use Wide Heavens, for every time that a kick connects, it plays this really bright white flashing hit effect, and it actually kind of hurts the eyes after a while. I'm so glad they took that out because it's kind of needless, and I really wouldn't like to put any jeopardy towards my photosensitive viewers. Alright, as always, let's take this guy down. Guillotine throw for fun. Then we can tear into these guys with Dragon and Phoenix and Fire Pit. Get some good yellow essence there. How are we doing on that? If I can end this chapter with around 8,000 yellow essence or so, that would be pretty good. There are going to be more upgrades to buy in the next chapter. As you can see, we got our next save point here. Let's make a quick checkpoint for us. Coming up into a relatively tough section here. Coming into the middle cabin here. Well, the cargo bay, actually, from the middle cabin. I want to break open these boxes real quick. And then head to this crank. Oh, I let go of the guard. I was going to use those essence in this upcoming battle right here. Got some more MSATs coming. On lower difficulties, a lot of these guys are white MSAT, but on this difficulty, they are all the much tougher black MSAT. Let's use the ultimate technique here. Looks like I'm not going to be able to kill them both, but should be able to set them up. Ooh, that guy did rush in for the grab. It's something you gotta watch out for. Nice thing about Fire Pit, will always break their guard, and the trailing hit will launch them. Ooh, this is gonna be a good combo. I want to grab that yellow essence, because that's gonna be worth quite a bit, actually. Alright, oof. Hey, get out of here. When those guys have their guns out, they're briefly vulnerable, but as you can see, he pulls the shield up pretty quickly. Get out of here. That was an opportunity to counter, but I kind of botched it. Alright. Now, we actually do want to get the bow out at this point. We'll throw that on. Let's see how much essence we got. That's okay. Now, we want to crank this exactly 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will let us walk out onto the hatch. And once we do that, we got little drones here. We want to quickly start shooting them. These are laser drones. Normally you don't meet these guys until Chapter 9, but they appear now on Master Mode. And the reason we wanted to get that hatch down just enough so that we could walk onto it, so that we could hit those guys without these guys appearing and firing at us. That's kind of the way you can manipulate some enemies. They typically, the game is actually fairly generous like this. The enemies typically don't act until you can actually see them on screen, with some exceptions, but that's usually how it works. So we can come out onto this hatch, shoot the drones before those guys show up and start firing on us with their handguns, and then I can just go into first-person view and kill them that way. That out of the way, let's just get onto this rope over here and climb over to the electrical section of the ship. Quite a inconvenient distance away from the main portion of the ship, actually. I hope the actual technicians don't have to take this route. Do want to be a little careful coming out onto the aft cabin here. Right around that corner, and you can probably tell from the way the camera's jerking around really awkwardly. We got more guys here. We'll just hit that guy with a down attack, throw this guy right off the ship. Nice. Alright, now you see that chest at the end there? Also, let me get my shurikens back on. We do not want to open that chest. It is very risky to do so. Fortunately, what is in the chest, I'll have another opportunity to show that off later. Ryu does not think highly of the repair job on this window. It is unclear if the MSAT did this or if it was the crew of the ship. Also, I meant to mention, I'm not sure if Ryu is the sole passenger on the ship or not. It does not seem to have a crew of any kind. Anyway. Looks like this could use some maintenance of the Ryu Hayabusa variety. Granted, Ryu is not much about fixing things, so you can imagine how valuable his maintenance is. Fortunately, this does not have any disastrous repercussions on the ship actually flying, but it has messed up the electronics enough that it has disabled all locks on the ship. So now that ID card we have is pretty useless, but we can now get through the ship uninterrupted. This will allow us to get to the end of the ship and towards the section that will lead us to the boss, but we've got one other thing to check out before we do so. And, of course, we just have to slowly come back across this rope. Also, keep your finger off the jump button if you have twitchy hands like I do. You do not want to drop down to the city of Tyrone below. This is not the most convenient way you can do this. Before we head out of the middle cabin, just check out this bin over here. For whatever reason, it has arrows in it, but I won't complain. That allows Ryu to actually keep himself stocked up on those. That is, of course, there if you got into the section without any arrows and, you know, didn't have to force you into backtracking into Muramasa in order to buy more. As always, we'll refresh our checkpoint. Good practice whenever you walk by a save point, always save your game. You never know what can happen in this game. Now, to the south of the passenger area, the living quarters, there was a door that was locked originally, but now that the electric locks are down, we can get through. And we've got a rudimentary jumping puzzle section here. Not really much of a puzzle, but you climb up here, and then jump over here. Yeah, the platforming in this game, not exactly immaculate, so let's angle the camera. There we go. Alright, hey, treasure, what's in this one? Oh dear, bats. Whoa, they are explodey boys. Yes, and that was what was in the treasure chest on the aft cabin. Over there, if the bats blow up on you, they have a pretty high chance of sending you flying off the ship and to your death. So I didn't want to risk that from opening it, so we just got the ones here. Other than that, we've got a golden scarab here. Now over in this treasure chest, we get a Talisman of Rebirth. This is a consistent Talisman of Rebirth that's always in this chest on every difficulty. One of the more generous moments of the game on Master Ninja mode. Talismans of Rebirth, when you die, they kick in immediately and revive you with full health. Additionally, if you have any lost Nimpo, they restore your Nimpo for you. Very nice. Very powerful items. Very expensive, too. 25,000 yellow essence a pop to buy. General good rule of thumb, whenever you have a Talisman of Rebirth, always burn through your regular healing items first because they're so powerful. And if you feel like you're gonna die, may as well just spam all your Nimpo before you die so you can enjoy that refill. Alright, got more guys here. Once again, we want to take out this blue one. Hit him with Wide Heavens. That should take him out. This guy with Fire Pit. One thing I've noticed about shurikens is that they're pretty inconsistent about actually hitting guys when they're on the ground. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I think it works a bit better when you do it from jumping. Now, before we head into the final area of this chapter, we just want to head back to Muramasa real quick. We've been collecting those golden scarabs. It's about time to see what we can actually do with them. A function I have not shown of Muramasa yet is the talk function. Whenever you come over to this one, he says some random nonsense that's not too important. But if we have some golden scarabs... Yes, we have. Alright, what do you got for us right now? And we get our smoke bombs refilled. It could be worse, I guess. But unfortunately on Master Ninja, the only thing you ever get from Muramasa, save for the last 2 rewards, is supplies. So you'll get stuff like Elixir of Spiritual Life or Great Spirit Elixir. There are some interesting items among this, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, this is far less useful than the lower difficulties, where we can just buy all these items. Same here, really. Now, one critical benefit of this, though, is that it means that no important items are locked behind our Golden Scarab progress. On the lower difficulties, on hard mode, a lot of weapons and skill upgrades are locked behind Golden Scarabs, including really useful ones, like Izuna Drop. You have to get 10 Golden Scarabs for that, as opposed to where Master Mode, where we have that right now. So it's not all bad. Very hard mode focuses the rewards around upgrades. You get stuff like... well, stuff for upgrading your Nimpo primarily, and a couple of Lives of the Gods, and I think 1 Life of the 1,000 Gods. But on Master Mode, just a bunch of junk for our purposes, really. Don't need to make any more shopping purchases, so we're just going to head to the final area. Now that we've undone the electrical locks, and we have opened up the shortcut for ourselves earlier. Very easy to forget to do this, because the door to continue to get the ID card is just right here. Heading up this way, there's going to be some guys waiting for us at the top of this staircase. Another blue MSAT. We'll just guillotine throw him. Wide heavens. Oh, looks like we missed him. And we'll just leave him down there. Let's take that yellow essence. Finish this guy off. And easy peasy. Don't think I could have carried any of this essence into the next battle, so I'd just leave it there. Now, this is a very easy secret to miss. Up here, we got our next gold scarab. You absolutely want to collect all the golden scarabs before finishing this level, because this is an area you cannot return to. If you do not collect anything in this area, or you do not collect everything in this area before you kill the boss, it is uncollectible. It is gone forever, and you have permanently locked yourself out of some side quests. There's the Elixir of Spiritual Life. Now heading over this way. Just do a quick jump over here. Oof. Yeah, it can be pretty easy to get cut behind these garters here. Girders, sorry. Let's... Haha, knock that guy down and he fell to his death. Let's see if we can't carry this essence, because there's some more guys to fight up this way. Yes, we got a blue essence there. Yeah, couldn't do that correctly. Yeah, it's gone. Sometimes that happens. I'm not super great at making use of my essence. I actually want to finish this guy with a low combo, so we can get some blue essence off of them. You probably noticed the black MSETs, oh, not my lucky day. They have a very high chance of dropping some blue essence. Alright, so we got a save point here. Got a ladder. Let's check out the ladder first, see what that gets us. Climbing all the way up here, there is a hatch. And hatch is locked, darn. Looks like there's an entryway right next to it. Let's do a bird flip up here. And looks like we got some kind of lever. What's this do for us? Aha! Hatch is open. Now that I've taken care of that, let's go back and save our game. Yeah, it's a good idea to do so afterwards, because if you're not prepared for this boss fight, he's not the hardest in the game, but he's a little tricky, and it can be very easy to let yourself get killed on this guy, so it's a good idea to just save our game after we open the hatch and save ourselves some time if we die. Now, I do have a strategy for this fight. Hopefully I can pull it off. Popping our head out here. Oof, you're a big boy. And this is the next boss, General Dynamo. Now, unlike a lot of bosses in this game, this guy has help, but we're just going to ignore them completely. They're just going to hang back and fire their guns, and I am not worried about that at all. Ah, that was unlucky. So we want to get close to him. Oof, that was a bad move. And he can do several things if he gets close to us. He can do a horizontal swing, he can do a vertical swing. He can also grab us, as you can see there. And he can also fire a shot quickly if he's in recovery. Oof, that was way too close. Okay, there we go. As you can see, I'm using Wide Heavens here. This move does tons of damage to him. Want to give myself an elixir of spiritual life here. Oop, that was unfortunate. Okay, do one more elixir of spiritual life. We should have this fight in the bag, though. Oh, careless. Alright, I'm gonna... There we go. Not the cleanest I've ever had that fight go, I'll admit. It is very possible to get him into a loop where he's just attacking, and then you can keep doing wide heavens in between his attacks and rack up the damage really quickly and kill him before he even gets a chance to hurt you, really. But as you can see, I kind of botched the execution there. I'm sure you got the basic principle, though, and I only burned through 3 elixirs of spiritual life. Those are easy to replace. Didn't have to use my Great Spirit elixir. Didn't have to use my Talisman of Rebirth. That's the important thing. And I kept my Nimpo. All good. Head Ninja here. Now, heading into the next chapter, you gotta be thinking, well, how the heck is Ryu gonna survive that? Well, you'll see. Heading into Chapter 4, we've got the Imperial City infiltration, and got a little cutscene right here. Yeah, it's nice I don't have to worry about talking over dialogue, because there's not much in this game. As you can see, how'd Ryu survive? He just survived. Retroactively, I suppose, the later games justify this, due to an ability that Ryu has there. Also, seizure warning. A little too late. Sorry about that. But yeah, awesome. Zip lines in. And we are in the Vigorian capital, Tyrone. Oh, some nice searchlights right there. And they got a cool clock tower. Thankfully, this chapter, like the previous, puts us right at a save point, so we can just save right here and call it a chapter. So yes, next time we will be returning in Ninja Gaiden Sigma to see how Chapter 3 plays out there. Fairly similar, but there are some very notable distinctions that will be worth drawing attention to. But that'll be for later. Now, for the limited people that might be watching this in real time, I did kind of plan the start of this Let's Play poorly. Got a vacation coming up, so I'll be gone for a week, and that'll stall out updates, obviously. But I will be resuming that as soon as I get back. And obviously, in the future, this will not matter at all. But that'll be relevant for the next video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, goodbye.